All right, let's do a baseball set, 1971. One of the nicest sets ever made. And you can't even argue about it because this set is so cool. And this is every card, not in a wrapper, not sleeved up. I'm going to sleeve them all up, put them in an envelope, just hope I don't drop them. And let's go through every player in the 1971 set. Dick Drago. Al Weiss. Just love the feel. Look at how great pretty much all these cards are. Denny McClain. Ken Satzkowitz. John Purdon with the fake hat painted on. Don't know what team he played on the year before. Rookie pitchers, Severson, Spinks, and Baylor Moore. Andy Costco. Look at the shape of these cards. Sandy Alomar. Chuck Manuel. He had a nickname. I can't think of the dang name of him. Charlie Manuel, that's what it was. Charlie Manuel. Charlie, duh. John O'Donohue. How about the Kansas City Royals 1970 pitcher? Skip Geen. Louis Aparicio. Barry Lurch, Phillies. Russ Gibson. Preston Gomez. Mel Queen. Mike Shannon, longtime announcer for the Cards on KMOX, 1120 St. Louis. Rob Gardner. Lee May with another painted on hat. Bob Reed. Jim Qualls. Don't know what team. The hat is red, but don't know what team it was the year before that. Expos, it looks like. Jim Rooker. Dick Billings. Cool card. Let's see the rookie outfielders. Wayne Redmond. Keith Lampard. Bernie Williams. Not the Bernie Williams you know. Ray Lamb. Paul Popovich. Gary Gentry. How about Tom Tuschinski of the Twins? I believe he just passed away. Vicente Romo, the Houston Astros. Johnny Morris. Matty Alou, one of the Alou brothers. Jerry May. Billy Wynn. He was on the Chicago White Sox the year before, and they paint the helmet, hat. Tommy Aaron. Part of the best brother combination that's hit the most home runs of any brothers. Tommy and Hank. Tommy with about 13. Hank with over 700. Dave Leonard. Horace Clark. Dick Williams. Funny that the hat isn't right. Mike Marshall. Look at that fake Expo drawing. Trying to find out where he played. Jose Martinez, Larry Stahl, Sonny Siebert. Rookie outfielders. Dusty Baker, rookie. How cool is that? Tommy Paciorek, another good player. And Don Baylor. That's a great rookie card. Russ Nagelson. Fred Lasher. Joe Foy. Dick Selma. J.C. Martin. Mike Kekich. Milt Ramirez. Bob Garibaldi. Boog Powell. One of my favorites. Jim Britton. Milwaukee Brewers at Milwaukee County Stadium. Ricky Clark. Jerry Morales. I wish the Angels would have just stayed with that hat. Jerry Morales. Joe Niekro. Rick Rennick. That's the first stack. First stack of about 60 cards. We only have about 10 stacks to go through. Jose Pena. Oh, I'm going to have to replace this card. Got to replace this one. It has a little beat up on that side. So what I do here is I note it. We need to replace card number 692. The players on it. Hal Hadel, don't know. Ruggiero Moret, know a little bit. Wayne Twitchell, a little bit. Bob Heisey. Frank Baker. Sparky Anderson. Ron Taylor. Chico Ruiz laying down a bunt. Mo Drabowski. Kurt Motton. Good pinch hitter for the Orioles for a few years. Bill Burbuck. Terry Harmon. Billy Butler. Don Mincher. That's a cool jersey. Old Minnesota Twin. 182 homers. He could do it. Hit a homer in the first World Series at bat. Don O'Reilly with the painted on hat. George Thomas. Jack Delorio. Tommy Reynolds. Once again, these are in great shape. Dave Boswell. 71s, normally you don't see this much black on the cards. Or usually you see a lot of white. Montreal Expos. Jerry Janeski. Ed Crosby. Bill Voss. Billy Hands played for the Twins. Ike Brown. Gary Niebauer. Pete Ward. I'd be smiling too if I played for the Yankees. Gene Brabender. Ron Swoboda, decent player. Archie Reynolds. Look at this. All Reynolds. This is their pitcher card if your last name is Reynolds. Archie, Bob, and Ken. Marv Staley with a bad hat. Mike Hedlund. Chuck Tanner, good coach. Better for the Pirates. Ray Culp. Byron Brown. Paul Lindblad. Good reliever, especially for the Royals. Jose Askew. Jerry Nyman. Mike Epstein. Don Shaw. Russ Snyder. Atlanta Braves. Jerry Robertson. Dick Allen. Sparky Lyle. Rookie Mets. Let's see if we know him. Rich Folkers. Ted Martinez. John Matlack. Juan Pizarro. Bobby Floyd. Jim Maloney. Jimmy Stewart. Bunting. Rich Reichert. Jim Rowland. The New York Mets. Frank Hall of Famer Robinson. Tom Holler. Stan Williams. I believe he was a reliever for the Twins. Yes, he was. Dave Bristol. Denny LeMaster. Bobby Mercer, good pinch hitter. Phil Reagan. American League rookies, Bobby Brooks. Pete Kogel. Scott Northey, the only one that really played at all. Darrell Chaney. Eddie Fisher. We're going through the 1971 Top Set, one of the best ever made, especially in this shape. I have to be very careful just putting them back in the box so I don't get yellow stains on them. Look at this card. First card, Roberto Clemente. Card number 630. John Hiller. John Bateman. I'm going to lower the stack a little. Steve Hamilton. Freddie Patek. Don't know what happened to the song that's supposed to be up. We'll try this song. There we go. Freddie Patek. Lou Brock, Hall of Famer. Clemente, Hall of Famer. The Oakland Athletics had a lot of Hall of Famers on it. Pat Jarvis. Joe LaHood. Ron Bryant. Frank Howard. Just a fantastic player, but not in the Hall of Fame. Unmarked checklist. Tug McGraw. Another great player, not in the Hall of Fame. Clay Dalrymple. Larry Heisel had many good years. Mel Stottlemyre. Billy Cohen. Pedro Borbon. Let's see if the Indians have anybody that we heard of. Lou Camilli. Nope. Ted Ford. Nope. Steve Mangori. Yep. Tom Phobos. Amos Otis. Nice hitter. Leo DeRocher, Hall of Famer. Might want to change that card. Card number 609. Change that one up too. Mike Wagner. Paul Ratliff. Chuck Taylor. Orlando Cepeda, Hall of Famer. Johnny Gellner. There's the Pirates. Many Hall of Famers on that team. Manny Martinez. Ken Tatum. Willie Mays. I wonder if he's in the Hall of Fame. Look at the shape of that card. Norm Cash. Rick Wise. Ken Suarez. Mike Jorgensen. Davey Johnson, old coach for the Mets. Reds rookies, let's see who they are. Bob Chapolsky, or Chlupsa, nope. Bob Stinson, nope. Al Hrabosky, the Mad Hungarian. This is the Cardinals, not the Reds. The Mad Hungarian. Heard of him. Jim Akert. Randy Hundley. We got Jackie Brown, Alex Johnson, Bob Barton, Tom Bradley, Sonny Jackson, Dick Woodson. Far and away the best stack so far with Clemente, Brock. Howard and McGraw were good. Amos Otis was very good. Orlando Cepeda, Hall of Famer. Willie Mays, Hall of Famer. Absolutely crazy. So here we go. So I don't know what's going on in the other room. We'll turn that off. Alexa, off. All right. Opening up the 71. Looking at the 71's complete set. If you haven't seen it, this stack here was the best stack so far. Be a long video, but you're looking at some of the best cards ever made. Willie Davis, great shape. Indians team. Not many Hall of Famers there. Ron Cook. Dave Cash. Roger Nelson. Tony Perez, Hall of Famer. Might update that one there to make it a little crisper. Marty Patton. Ron Hunt. Jim Lonborg. Cubs rookies, let's see who they are. Adrian Garrett, nope. Brock Davis, nope. Gary Jestat, nope, don't know any of them. Bill Freehan, one of the best catchers of the 70s and early 80s, or 60s and early 70s. Jim Bunning, good pitcher. Good pitcher, one of the best. Phenomenal pitcher. Jerry Kenny. Ted Sizemore, fantastic player. Jim Palmer, Hall of Fame. Ivan Morrell, Sal Campisi. Walt Alston, Hall of Famer. Tim Cullen, Jim Wynn. Al Fitzmaurice, the San Francisco Giants. Dave Justy. Sid O'Brien. Rusty Staub, one of my favorites. Man, is that a cool-looking uniform. Rookie American League rookies. Terry Cox, don't know. Bill Gogolewski played a little bit. Gary Jones, don't know him. Hector Torres. Tim Satriano. Jim McLaughlin. Walt Williams. Lowell Palmer. Those glasses. Kevin Collins. Buddy Bradford. Harmon Killebrew. Jim Brewer. Don Mason. Pat Dobson. And John Matthias. All right, about a quarter of the way done. Let's do this part first. Dick Dietz, Vida Blue. A lot of Hall of Famers on the Yankees, probably. Bob Miller, Bob Berta, Larry Durker, Larry Brown, Angel Bravo, Tom Egan, Claude Raymond, Kurt Flood, Luke Walker, Mike Ryan, Bill Rigney, Twins coach, Mike Torres, Carl, yes, Dramsky, look at the shape of that one. I replaced it. This is the card that came in it, and I just bought that one. That's the one that I replaced it with. Right there. Hall of Famer. National League rookies. Enzo Hernandez. Billy Buckner rookie, like that one. And Marty Perez. Wally Bunker. Cleon Jones, Ray Jarvis, Ernie Banks, Hall of Famer, and he's excited about it. Mickey Stanley, John Odom, Blue Moon Odom. Look, he even signs his autograph, Blue Moon. Minnesota Twins. A lot of Hall of Famers here. Blyleven's on that team. Killebrew's on that team. Cruz on that team. And Oliva's on that team. Leron Lee. Tommy John. Willie Crawford, Joe Grisenda, Charlie Fox, Ted Kubiak, Carl Morton, Ron Woods, cool pitcher. It kind of makes it look like Ron Woods is the catcher, but Ron Woods has to be the batter. Signed over the batter. Nolan Ryan, I wonder if he's in the Hall of Fame. Oh, yes, he is. Mills and Garmin. Garmin had played a little bit. Chris Short with Pete Rose in the background. Ken Harrelson, the Hawk. Jim Mudcat Grant. Roger Repos. George Stone. Bobby Canoop. Ollie Brown. Ken Wright. Gates Brown. Look at the Cubs. Andy Etchebarren. That's a cool picture. We'll finish up that stack. There's Jim Perry. A couple of monster years. A Cy Young year. 70 was a Cy Young year. John Kennedy, the president's relative, probably. Horacio Pena. Look at it. Even Kennedy's even from Boston. Woody Woodward. Felipe Alou, cool pitcher. Braves rookies. Ralph Garr. Rick Kester. Dave May. Ken Boswell. Great looking pitcher. Look at that cool shot. Who's going into second? I thought it was Concepcion, but it doesn't look like it. Jim Harden. Deron Johnson. Luis Alvarado. Jerry Stevenson. Paul Shaw. Steve Hunts. Ken McMullen, cool pitcher. Don Wilson. Gene Michael swinging. Padres team card. Daryl Patterson. Manny Sanguillen signing an autograph. Dennis Higgins. Bernie Carbo. Earl Hall of Famer Weaver. Dal Maxville hopping over a guy. A cool pitcher. Ron Peronowski. Twins. Was he the closer too for the Twins for a while? Jim Ferry. Gary Wagner. Ken Rudolph. I could probably replace the Ken Rudolph card. It's $4.72. Tom Griffin, Bob Oliver, Bob Aspromonte, Frank Fernandez, Al Santorino, Ken Berry with the really crappy looking hat. Shape of these cards is unbelievable. A few cards so far. I'll probably have to replace 4 just because I want them all to be good. Tim McCarver, great player. Julio Lopez, Tom Kelly, Washington Senators. Not many Hall of Famers there, except if Ted Williams was coaching that year. I don't know if he did or not. Jim Hart, Fritz Peterson, cool pitcher. Jim Lefevre, Ron Olich, Dave Lemons. Don't know what those guys. Willie Smith, Bob Meyer, Don Kessinger, Mike Paul, Terry Crowley, John Bocabella, Joe Keogh, Bob Gibson, Hall of Famer. Brant Ollier, Dave Roberts, Cesar Geronimo, Bobby Bolin. Might want to replace that one too. $4.46. Art Shamsky, Jimmy Price, Rich Robertson, California Angels, Milt Pappas, Bert Campaneris, great player. The Greg the Bull Uzinski, Scott Reed, Mike McCormick, Danny Murdoch, Wilbur Wood, great pitcher. Joe Jose Cardinal, decent player. Terry Sutherland, Skip Lockwood, Bob Didier, and Tom Bergmeyer. And I can't remember if I did this stack or not with Wes Parker and Hinton. Yeah, I did this one already. With the old card. All right, so there we go. About a little over halfway done now, so we're moving along. Right about halfway done. Hoping you're enjoying looking at the 1971 Top Set in extreme excellent condition. Greg Garrett, Clyde Meshore, Ernie McAnally. Don't know those guys. Steve Hargan, Cleet Boyer in one of his final years. Tom McCraw, Luke Krause, Jack Hyatt, Joe Torre. What is going on there? Oh, looks like, yeah, there's the guy in the on-deck circle. Bob Veal, Dalton Jones, Ron Stone, Bob Johnson, Tommy Dean, Mike Nagy, Mike Adamson, and Roger Freed. Don Sutton, Jim Fregosi, cool pitcher. Ron Reed, Danny Cater. A lot of Hall of Famers on that team. Bob Locker. Bud Harrelson. What a great shot. You got the throw down a second stolen base. You got the shortstop taking him out. You got the second baseman backing him up. Umpire ready to make the call. And that must be the pitcher. First baseman I don't think would be in that much. Don McMahon. Carl Taylor. Denny Doyle. Jim Schellenbach. Billy Williams, Hall of Famer. How many homers did he have at that time? 291. He had most of them after that. Rich Reese. Fred Norman. Ted Oolander. Lum Harris. Love that name. Joe Horland. Eddie Rodriguez. Ed Acosta. Milt May. Both played a little bit. Fred Tepadino. Might replace that card. 342. Steve Garvey. Should be in the Hall of Fame. Rico Petrocelli. Wayne Simpson. Good pitcher. Gene Tennis. Good catcher. Jesus Alou. Great outfielder. Tigers. Jerry Koosman. Good pitcher. Roberto Pena. Clay Kirby. In the World Series. Convincing performance by the Orioles. There's Cuellar. Merv Retmund. Let's go through some more highlights. Brooks Robinson commits robbery. Red Stay Alive. Frank Robinson shows muscle. Buford goes 2 for 4. And I think I'll replace that card. 328. Boog Powell homers opposite field. There's Richie Scheinblum. Juan Marichal Hall of Famer. Craig Nettles, great third baseman. Billy Champion. Jim Beauchamp. Tom Mechik. Dave McAnally, great pitcher. Ty Klein. Rudy May. Looks like off center, so replace that one. 318. Jim Driscoll. Angel Mangual. Fred Sherman. Ron Fairley. Jim Torberg. Tom Hall. Harry Walker. Cool jersey. Lee Stang, New York Mets card of Tommy Agee. Looks like he's getting there pretty easy. Dick Ellsworth, the Cardinals. Don Wharton, Jim Nash. $300 cards left. Reggie Smith, cool sideburns. Ron Brand, Lindy McDaniel, Phil Gagliano, Earl Wilson, Brooks, Hall of Famer, Robinson striking out. Ike Kirkpatrick, Jim Nelson, Johnny Briggs. He could hit the long ball. Tom Timmerman, Bobby Bonds, Barry Bonds' dad. Steve Dunning, Pat Corrales, Jay Johnstone, George Culver, Tony, Hall of Famer, Oliva. White Sox, Joe Moeller, Mike Fiore, Jerry McNertney, Sal Bando wearing the cool A's jersey, Jim Gosger, Dick Such, Twins pitching coach for many years, Jose Pagan, Danny Walton, played for the Twins. That is a bad-looking helmet. Fergie Jenkins, believe he's in the Hall. Lefty Phillips, Jerry Grote, Gary Waslewski, Mike Davidson, and George Foster. Played for the Big Red Machine many years. Vada Pinson, Ron Slocum, Pete Rickard, Tommy Helms, Bill Zepp, Rico Cardi, Gail Hopkins, the Philadelphia Phillies, who stunk in the early 70s. Rich Morales, Bill Stoneman, Jim Northrup, Joe Morgan, Hall of Famer. John Ellis, Jim Williams, Dave Robinson, Darryl Knowles, Tommy Harper, Dave Marshall, Dick Green, Nelson Bryles, Tony Gonzalez, Bob Robertson, Cal Kuntz, Bill Sudeikis, Eddie Leon, cool jersey, Frank Rieberger, Johnny Bench, Hall of Fame, Chico Salmon, Hoyt Wilhelm, Jerry Krampol, Splittorf had a good career for the Royals, Tony Taylor, Jim Hall of Fame Cott. Forgot he was on the Twins that year, so the Twins had 5 Hall of Famers. Bob Tillman, Carlos May, Jim Ray. How about May and Ray? And we'll open another stack here, or go through another stack. We now have 240 cards left is all. Went through 500 of them. Dave Nelson, Clyde Wright, Red Shindy's Hall of Famer. Diego Segui, Cesar Cedeno, one of my favorites. Bob Humphreys, Nate Colbert. Jim Little, Larry Boa, great player. John Strohmeyer. How about Vince Colbert and John Lolo Lowenstein? Hall of Fame, Willie Stargell. Wayne Garrett, Jim Hannon. Floyd, not Earl Weaver. Bill Russell, good player. Gary Peters, Alan Gallagher. Anybody that made the major leagues is pretty much a good player. Bob Watson, one of my favorites. Dave Moorhead, Ron Santo. They loved him in Chicago. Hall of Famer now. Elrod Hendricks. Tony Cloninger. Ed Stroud. How about the Cardinals rookie? Louis Melendez and Reggie Cleveland. Both barely played. Diego Segui. Al Ferrara. Frank Baker. Richie Hebner. Phil Hennigan. Rod Klein Carew. Steve Renko. Billy Martin. Alan Foster. Jerry Moses. Bernie Smith, George Kopaz. Larry Gura had a good career with the Royals. Let's go through some NL celebrations. World Series bound. Here's Game 3. Gene Klein scores a winning run. Tolan scores for the third time for the Reds. Klein pinch a triple, decides it. They swept Pittsburgh. There's the Orioles. Palmer mows them down. McInally makes it 2 straights. Boog Powell muscles the Twins. 3-game sweep. (10-6) in Game 1. 11-3 in Game 2. They really smoked them. And Game 3 was 8-1. That's a 3-game blowout. No wonder why they won the World Series. Mike Lum, Bobby Grich, good shortstop. Billy Wilson, Mike Andrews, Bobby Tolan scored 3 runs in the World Series. George Middlewald might replace that. 189. Rookie stars for the Dodgers that I don't know. Bobby Valentine, I think he's the old coach, so I heard of him, I guess. Ted Abernathy, Bob Spence, Julian Javier, Stan Boston, Gil Hodges, Hal Downing, Hal Lanier. We now only have 180 cards left to look at. In the nicest set ever made by a lot of people. Nice black borders on pretty much all these. So like a little touch of white. So that's Al Kaline. If I wanted to try to get another one of them, I might. Mike Corkins, Dave Duncan, Hal McRae, Bob Montgomery, Doug Griffin, Jim Hickman, Dave LaRoche, Jill Jarito, Duke Sims, Bobby Wine, Mike Quaylar, Ed Herman, Bruce Del Canton, Tommy Grieve, Jim Horner, Cesar Tovar played all 9 positions in a game once. Frank Duffy, Milt Wilcox, Buck Martinez, the longtime announcer. Jack Billingham, Tom Seaver. Looks like I need to replace that one. See, I see a little whites on it, so that's going to stink. That's going to cost me some money. Jarvis Tatum. Jerry Royce has a Facebook page. Bob Bailey, Bart Johnson, Ken Henderson, Cesar Gutierrez, Gary Ross, sorry. Winston, I don't know that name, Lenas, and Lloyd Allen. And Lloyd Allen needs to be replaced. Tommy Davis, Sal McDowell, Mike Hirschberger, John Mayberry, a big home run hitter, Bob Pretty, Ralph Houck, Billy Singer played for the Twins, Jackie Hernandez, Steve Blass, Mac Jones, Frank Quillisi, he managed the Twins after he played, Gaylord Perry, Hall of Famer, Paul Casanova, Joe Liss and Willie Montanez need to be replaced maybe, 138. I'll see if I can replace some of these and make them even better. Marcelino Lopez, Duffy Dyer, Rick Monday, Don't Say It's Tuesday, Joe Arcia, Mickey Lalich, Joe LeBoy. How about the Yankees? Kurt Blaffery, Dennis Menke, Aurelio Montenegro, Frank Johnson, Danny Thompson, Danny Coombs, Ray Fosse. Got injured when Pete Rose slid into him in the All-Star game and never was the same. Don Gullett. Eddie Watt definitely needs to be replaced. 122. All right, 2 stacks of 60 left, and we are done with the 1971 set, the best set possibly ever made. Jim Dunnigan, Rose Skidmore, Willie Horton, Frank Lucchesi, Cookie Rojas, great card at Yankee Stadium. Ken Sanders, Don Clendenin, Billy Canigliaro, Jerry Kreider, Manny Moda, Lloyd Colson, Bobby Mitchell, Bill Mazeroski. Once again, tops every 10 cards should be one of the best players out there. Hall of Famer. So we'll go 10 cards and see who it is. Hovley 9, Cumberland 8, Foster 7, Duke 6, Tony Canigliaro 5. Also good players are at 5, but the best are at 0-0. And then you have the 1-0, 2 zeros are good. Frizella, Severson, and here we go. Or there's 0-2. Force played a lot. Howard, Les Kane, and let's see who this is. Oh, Pete Rose, one of the greatest ever to play. Card number 100. Here's Mark Bellinger, Tim Decker, Floyd Wicker, Jim Hogg. Louis Tiant was good. Don Hahn, Norm McRae, and Denny Riddleberger. Bob Lemon, and here's going to be one of the good players, Joe Pepitone. Ken Brett, Hal King, Jack Heidemann, Mike Kilkenny, Billy Garbowitz, Renee Marcel Lasheman, Kim Foley, Randy Bob, Casey Cox, Felix Milan. This one should be a good one. Bill Melton, great player for the White Sox. Wayne Blasingame, Jim Spencer, Mike Compton, Ted Savage, Gary Nolan, good pitcher. The Twins, Pete Hammond, Jim Nettles, George Brunette, Seaver, Gibson, Jenkins, McDowell, Lolich, Johnson, Gibson, Perry, Jenkins, 3 phenomenal pitchers. Cuellar, McAnally, Perry, Seaver, Simpson, Luke Walker, Diego Segui, Jim Palmer, Clyde Wright. Diego Segui led the league in ERA. 2.56. Home run leaders. Check out some of these cards. Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame. Bench Williams, Perez. Frank Howard, Killebrew, Yaz. 2 of the 3 are in the Hall. Bench, Perez, Billy Williams, all Hall of Famers. Howard, Canigliaro, Powell. None in the Hall of Fame. Rigo Cardi, Torre, and Manny Sanguillen. Cardi led the league in batting with a .291 average. Wow. Alex, how about the National League batting average? Oh, the American League. Alex Johnson, Yastrzemski, and Oliva. All looked on the wrong side. Cardi was 366. And Johnson was 329. Dick Bosman. Here we go with the last stack of the 1971 set. Gene Mauch, Bill Lee, Spaceman, Von Joshua, Dwayne Josephson, Steve, Hall of Famer Lefty Carlton. Little crease in the card. Not happy about that. Means I got to replace Lefty. Paul Blair, Oscar Brown, Earl Williams, Steve Klein, Willie McCovey, Hall of Famer. Got to replace it. 50. Don Money, Dave Baldwin, Johnny Jeter, Dave Campbell, Jim Catfish Hunter, Johnny Edwards, Steve Keeley, Boots Day, Rick Austin, Lee May, cool card, Johnny LeGros and Gene Lamont, Coach, Jim Colburn, Rich McKinney, Dean Chance, Lou Piniella. Excuse me, guys. I'm allergic to good baseball cards. Sandy Vance, Del Unser, Jerry DeVannen, Eddie Casco, Phil, Hall of Famer Necro, Don Buford, good player, Ron Klimkowski, Fred Cambria, and Gene Kleins, Bert, Hall of Fame, Blyleven, Clarence Cito Gaston, Coach, Rich Hand, Oscar Gamble, cool card, Phil Roof, Danny McGinn, Reggie, Hall of Famer Jackson, Skip Pitlock, Norm Miller, Billy Sorrell, Ken Singleton, good player, Andy Methersmith, good player, Dave Concepcion, Charlie Brinkman, Dick Maloney, Johnny Callison, Elliot Maddox, Claude Osteen. Might have to replace that one with all the wax on it. George Boomer Scott, Mike McQueen, Jim Holt, Ed Spezio, Thurman Munson, Vic Davalio, Dick McAuliffe, Doc Ellis, and the world champions, Baltimore Orioles. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 1971 set. Hope you enjoyed it. Look at the shape of the cards. I'd say 99.5% of them are absolutely outstanding. A few have a little ding, so replace. But overall, most of them look like this, where it's absolutely almost mint. Hope you enjoyed it. There's Gene Mauch. Have a good day.